slow. It is about Moses on Mount Sinai and what he finds when he comes down from the mountain. Moses had been given instructions by God to construct the sanctuary. God is specific about who should supervise the building of the sanctuary and priestly garments. Moses also commanded to remind the people that in observing the Sabbath, they celebrate the covenant between themselves and God. Moses is given 2 tablets containing God's commandments to present to the Israelites. Moses had been gone 40 days. The people of Israel are uncertain about what has taken him so long to return. The Israelites approached Moses' brother Aaron to create a golden calf for them to worship. Aaron agrees. Even though they have been rescued from slavery by God, they became frustrated waiting for Moses, their leader, to come back. Maybe he was lost or even dead. They needed something to believe in, so they created an idol to worship. This challenged the laws of the God who had saved them. God tells Moses about the golden calf. God threatens to destroy the Israelites for disobeying him. Moses pleads for the people's lives. He saved them from God's anger. Moses argues that the Egyptians would say that the God of Israel rescued his people from Egypt only to kill them off from the face of the earth. Moses reminds God of the promise made to the forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The Israelites would one day be numerous and safe in their own land. The reality of seeing the people are not respecting their covenant with God hits Moses hard. Seeing the golden calf in person makes him really angry and probably disappointed. In frustration, he shatters the tablets. Moses' anger had not led him by the time he got back to camp. Destroying the tablets did not make him feel much better. He then destroys the golden calf. He also gave orders to destroy the people who have not been loyal to God. God instructs Moses to carve 2 new tablets and take them to the top of Mount Sinai. Moses then asks God to forgive the people, and God makes another covenant with them. I think this parsha addresses many human weaknesses. It seems that the Israelites were ungrateful. They were led out of Egypt and freed from slavery by a God who expected very little of them. They were not to worship any other God and not to make idols to worship. The Israelites are probably impatient and frustrated, waiting for Moses. He was gone a long time, 40 days. It seemed he disappeared. No one knew if he was coming back. They had been led to freedom and then left alone in the desert without any guidance. They were probably afraid. They didn't know who to turn to or who would lead them. Idol worship was what they had seen in Egypt. It was probably not easy for them to worship a God without form or shape. I don't think the Israelites really lost faith in God. They lost faith in Moses. I think this also points out that people really do need a leader for guidance and someone to believe in for strength. God did not take his betrayal by the Israelites lightly. He was at first not very forgiving. God knew the Israelites had built an idol. He wanted to destroy them for disobeying. These seemed a little extreme to me. What the Israelites didn't know was that Moses intervened with God on their behalf. The leader who they thought abandoned them tried to save them from the God they had disobeyed. Though God does spare their lives and promises to give the land of Israel to the people but do not dwell in their midst. So Moses needed to ask them to forgive the people even further. Finally, God assures Moses that the people will again be led by his presence. I think Moses was not only angry but disappointed when he saw the Israelites dancing around the golden calf. If he hadn't believed in his people, he would never have helped them out of Egypt. Moses was their leader, almost a parent to the Israelites. He was the responsible adult. He did not turn his back on his children when God told him that the Israelites had broken their covenant. He worked to save them from God's wrath. Then Moses behaved like a child. Out think he thought about why the Israelites were disobeying. He just reacted. First, he broke the commandment tablets. It was priceless because it contained God's laws. I'm sure he regretted destroying something so important. It seemed Moses had a meltdown. He threw a tantrum. Destroying the golden calf was irrational, but I don't think it was illogical. I feel the connection of Moses. I understand that he needed to take his anger out on someone, but his was a very childish response. Today is a bar mitzvah. I'm called to the Torah as a man, though I too still respond to many things like a child. Just recently, I was disappointed and frustrated when a game I ordered for my GameCube did not work correctly. Instead of asking politely for someone to fix it, I had thrown a tantrum. I slammed doors and tried to rip up a book that I had just finished. This did not solve my problem. I was impatient and did not try to figure out what was wrong. I had to appeal to my mother to fix the situation. I also felt frustrated doing my community service. As many of you know, I have a passion for gymnastics. I wanted to share this passion with younger boys who are just getting involved in the sport. It was my job to help the assistant coach teach the younger boys new skills. When they did not listen, I felt impatient. When they did not respond as I expected, I was frustrated. It is hard to respond rationally when you are disappointed like that. At this time, I would like to thank all the people who helped me get here today. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Debbie Lewis. Without Lou's patience and encouragement, I could have never gotten this far. I would like to thank the rabbis, the Hazan, and my religious school instructors who have also helped me along the way. I want you all to know I appreciate your being here with me to share this occasion. I'm also glad to see the many friends and family from out of town who are also here. I would like to thank our potty and our gymnastics coach for believing in our team. I know he gets frustrated and impatient. I know sometimes he may be disappointed in our efforts, but we do try our best. I think as a coach, he can relate to how Moses have felt. Last but not least, I would like to give a big thanks to my mother. I know sometimes she gets extremely frustrated, but somehow she manages without slamming doors. Raising a child of her own is probably very challenging, but I've tried to work hard and will continue to work hard not to disappoint her. It seems like I've been speaking before you.
No more.